G'day everyone, Matt from Chase the Weekend. How you going today? We are currently in the motorhome of madness. Why is it madness? Well, we've got a lot of gear. We've got to try and squeeze into here. Space is an absolute premium. So Mum and Dad have gone out and decided that they want to travel. Bought a motorhome, but the motorhome doesn't have an inverter. Solar's really old and a bit dodgy. Got the old AGM batteries in there, and you know, it's in need of an update. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a 12 volt Victron inverter charger, multi-plus 2, 3 kVA. We're going to fit in a DC to DC charger. We're going to do 2 solar regulators, one for the roof solar panels, and we're going to do a second solar regulator for portable panels, which so that if they park up in the shade, they can put the portable panels out in the sun, and a few other bits and pieces. And we're going to take out the old AGMs, chuck in 3 12 volt 100 amp hour lithium batteries. So the idea behind the lithium is that we're taking out 60 kilos of lead and we're only putting back in 30 kilos of lithium, but we're more than tripling the amount of storage capacity. So I've already installed the inverter. After much consideration, the only spot that I have that is going to be out of the way is actually behind the driver's seat. Now, I've already checked clearances, I've already checked with the supplier, everything is totally fine. I'm gonna have to put some sort of shroud around it, and the chair just touches it when it's fully back. Still got room for the airflow out the back. Don't know how I'm gonna do that AC cabling. So AC and DC will come out the bottom there, obviously. But unfortunately, that's the only spot in the whole entire van where I could actually fit it without making a box for the back of the van. And I couldn't even do that because there's no space on the back wall to mount a box anyway. So the 12 volt gear is under the seat. It's really tight. I've already gone through and pulled all the old gear out and the old batteries. I've sat the new batteries in there, and now what I'm up to is just working out the layout, seeing where I'm going to fit everything, and then work out all the wiring. I've got AC wiring to redo, which I'll get an electrician in to do that part of it. And other than that, it should be pretty straightforward. Hopefully, maybe. So the inverter's just on the other side of the wall there. In here will be the batteries, and then that gives me this space on the back wall there, that wall, that wall. Batteries are pretty tight in there, so I'm not really going to be able to put too much in there. And then in this side, we've got all the other gear that's going to go in. So I've already ripped out all the old gear, so I've got those cables there are the main 12 volt cables for the van. That's my negative and my positive from the start battery. That's just a data cable that was for the projector charger for the remote screen. I'm actually thinking about putting that back in just so it's got a bit of extra charging boost. The idea is all the 12 volt, all the existing 12 volt and all the existing AC will remain in place, and we're literally just putting an inverter charger, the Victron inverter charger in between. Solar's really easy to get to, I've already sussed that out. So the solar goes up the wall there, through that cupboard there, and then up onto the roof there. So that's it, that's where all the bits are gonna go. Now I gotta get them in there. Also, I'll show you this too while I've got you. I've got the laptop set up so I can watch the footy at the same time. I think there's going to be a few nights spent in this bus getting this all ready to go. So, alright, let's get the tools out and see what we can get done. Righto, another day, another dollar. Done a fair bit since last time. What I've done is I've just gone and stuck 2 of the panels down. They're all glued off, ready to go. I've made up some brackets for the third one because I've had to lift it up because there's these support brackets here for the aircon. So
I've put some 25mm box in there and some more spaces which I'll put the core flute down on, and then the panel. And I've rerouted the cable so it goes under the panel and sticks out close to the middle of the van where the aircon is. I'll put it in conduit, solid conduit. I've got some solar, heavy duty 25mm out of the bin. So go to your local solar guy and say, hey mate, you got any offcuts, a HD 25mm solar conduit, and he'll probably give you a couple of bits for free. So very, you know, keep the cost down where possible. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the solar connectors on, the MC4s, and I'll show you how we do that. Right, so I'm just going to strip this fella back. Now, this isn't UV rated, this cable, so I'm going to have to make up some sort of cover or something just to go over it. So it's the existing cable that was there. There's nothing wrong with it, so I thought, well, why fix something that's not broke? So just rerouted it, put all the rest of it out of the sun, and then I've just got this last little bit here which I'll put a cover on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about there. That'll do. Now what I want to do is I'm going to trim this probably to about there. Right. And then I'm going to do strip about that much off, 15mm-ish. With your solar connectors, you got two types. You've got a male and a female. On the panel, the male is the positive and the female is the negative, right? So what we want to do is opposites on our cable that goes down to our charge controller. So with your solar connectors, you got two different pins, two different inners, right? So you got a big one and a little one. The little one goes in the big one like that, right? Now, how I remember it for which one goes in which is big in little, little in big, right? There you go, tip for the day. So what we want to do is, so our male is going to go on the negative, so big in the little. So we want to put that on up to there, get our crimpers, and we're just going to crimp. Another tip, push those two little tabs together. Let's crimp. Look at that, beautiful crimp. And what we want to do is, right, so we want to loosen our little ring off, push them in, click, tighten that up. I'll get my proper tool on that in a minute, but that's it, job done. Nice waterproof connection. So let's do the female. Tug test, nice and tight. Click. Coming out of there. Tighten that up. Beautiful. Nice, tight, secure, ready to go for the solar. So I'll have to get, like I said, I'll get the cover over that. Righto, so what have I done in here? First of all, I've got the links bus in, I've got the tails made up. Now I'm able to scavenge the cable from the stuff that we've pulled out already, so save some bucks there for sure. I've mounted the servo, mounted the shunt, mounted the smart battery protect right here, rerouted the cables. So I've got a backing board there, put some other backing boards in to mount the gear. I've run a duct across the floor there. You wouldn't even know it was there, can't even tell. So that's for our HDMI cable because we mounted our touchscreen. So I was debating whether or not to put it there. Like all the other stuff's up in the cupboard, and it would be an absolute mission trying to get a cable from there through through here, back down over here and up here over the servo. So I'll put it there, and you know, it's nice and convenient, so you can actually see it. So you can sit at the table and you'll be able to see it nice and easy, so you know that it's there. So with the inverter location, I've actually pulled the inverter off, and I've got a bit of sign panel, and I've put that on the wall behind the inverter. So if you see there, so I've got that there that the inverter will sit on, strengthen it up as well. Like I was mounting through, there's a big support in the back here which I'll mount to, but that'll just strengthen it all up anyway, and it looks a bit nicer. Probably going to have to get a Perspex shield or something to go in front of the inverter. Haven't got that far yet, so that's where we're at the moment in the motorhome. It's all getting there, so many hours, but I'm pretty happy with it, and I've got a good plan now. Just basically got to screw everything off, wire it in, do all the DC. Spoke to my Sparky mate. I'm going to run the AC cables. He's going to come in and terminate it. And that's it, really. Happy days. I've got the mounting bracket for the batteries sorted out, so I'm going to wedge them in there and then put a piece of aluminium across the top of the batteries, hold them in nice and firm so they're not going to bounce around, but they only weigh 10 kilos each, so not a lot of weight there. About it. So what I'm going to do is I've got the last panel to go on, get that on, glued down, and then that's it for the roof for now, because I'm still waiting on some T-branch connectors because I'm going to run all the panels in parallel. So I've ordered them, they're coming in the post sometime. They're supposed to be here on Friday, but they didn't arrive. So what else have I got to do? So yeah, I'll get them on so then I can put all the parallel cables in, put the joiner cable in, and then I can secure off all the cables and try and get as much of the cable out of the sun as possible. And the roof's done, and onto the battery wire up and all the rest of the jazz. So yeah, happy days. We'll check back in a bit. Righto, so with the solar panels, I've glued them straight down. I've gone and got some core flute, because that's what 4Drive Super Center recommend, is core flute. They use double-sided tape, but I'm not going to trust double-sided tape. So I've got Pseudo Fix All, Mitre 10. You can grab it from Mitre 10. Super strong. It even says it on the tube. Super strong. It's not coming off with this, right? So I've marked out where the panels are going. I've surface prepped, right? So with the fiberglass, it's got the gloss on it. You want to rough that up. So I've got some sandpaper, worked out where the glue's going to go, gave it a nice roughen up, sand up, and then wipe it down with metho. So metho will clean it and then dry it as well, and then I give it another wipe over to be sure. So done that, glued the core flute down, glued the panels down, and I'm going to go and glue the third one down right now. It's starting to get a bit late. Had to go and grab another light from inside there. So I've got a fair idea of what I'm going to do. I've started laying it out, installed the shunt, I've installed the battery protect. I've got an idea where the Orion's going to go. I've actually put the solar controller in up here, back in its original position, and some breakers. So I've got two breakers there, one for the solar PV coming in and one for the breaker itself before it goes back down. And then the other end I've got a blade fuse so that each end's protected. And if there's a problem with this, I can easily turn it off, take it out and change it if I ever have to. So yeah, that's probably about it for tonight. Depending on the length of the video, I might end the video here. It's all coming together. I've laid it all out. It's just a lot of time now, just wiring it all, making it all look right. I'm under a bit of time pressure because someone's using the van in a couple of weeks, so I've really just got to smash it out, get it in, and then when the van comes back, I'll do a shakedown tidy up all the wiring, doing all that stuff. So the main focus at the moment is get everything in place, get it all programmed, everything operational, then the bus can go on the trip, and then when it comes back, then I've tied it all up. So be kind when I show you the footage. It's going to be a little bit messy, but rest assured I'll fix it up eventually. The journey's long. We've just got to take one step at a time, and we'll get there eventually. So thanks for sticking around. Hopefully we've earned your subscription today. Also, if you like this video, make sure you give us a big thumbs up. Really helps spread it out, spread the video out far and wide. Well, I'm going to get out of here. It's time for bed. I've got to go in and do some dad stuff. Remember, the weeks are long, but the weekends are really short. So get out there, go and buy a motorhome or a caravan, do a wicked 12-volt setup in it, get out there and chase the weekend. Catch you later.